Power in times of crisis is a dangerous thing. For Nigeria's first military head of state, Major General Johnson Ironsi, the weight of leadership came with deadly consequences. After the failed coup of January 1966, Ironsi stepped in to restore order. But in a nation divided by ethnic tensions and political unrest, did his decision seal his fate? Some say he was too trusting, while others say he failed to act when it mattered the most. But what were the critical mistakes that led to his brutal assassination? In this rare account, Biafra's former Army Chief of Staff, Major General Alexander Madiebo, shares his insights into the decisions that cost Ironsi his life. Was it avoidable, or was he doomed from the start? Hi guys, welcome to Afriverse's story. On today's episode, we explore the thoughts of Major General Madiebo on the mistakes that General Ironsi made that led to his death. Do stay tuned and enjoy the ride. In the early hours of 15 January 1966, Nzogwu led a group of soldiers on a supposed military exercise, taking them to attack the official residence of the Premier of the North, Sir Ahmadu Bello, in a bloody coup that saw the murder of the premiers of the North and Western Nigeria. Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, a federal minister Festus Okotie Ebo, and top military officers, mostly from northern and western regions of the nation, were also murdered. An officer from the eastern region, Lieutenant Colonel Unegbe, the Quartermaster General of the Army, was also murdered as well. From the existing government, the Premier of Eastern Region, Michael Okpara, the President of Nigeria's Federation, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and the Igbo Army Chief, Johnson Ironsi, were notable survivors. Nzogwu's modus operandi in the north contributed to no small measure the success of the coup in northern Nigeria. According to a Nigerian Police Special Branch report, Nzogwu executed at least 4 army and police security personnel, including one of the men on his team, Sergeant Daramola Oyegoke. Nzogwu also participated in the execution of Colonel Ralph Shodeinde, the superior officer at the Nigerian Military Training College. After waiting for an early morning radio announcement from Major Adewale Ademoyega in Lagos, which did not take place because of the failure of the coup in Lagos, Major Nzogwu made a mid-afternoon announcement declaring martial law in northern Nigeria. The plotters had planned to neutralize key government and military figures as well as 6 cities of Kaduna, Ibadan, and Lagos, where there were major seats in military and government power. However, on the morning of 15 January 1966, a meeting with some local journalists in Kaduna, seeking to find out what was going on, it was brought to Major Nzogwu's attention that the only information about the events then was what was being broadcast by the BBC. Nzogwu was surprised because he had expected a radio broadcast of the rebels from Lagos. He is said to have gone wild when he learned that Emmanuel Ifejuna in Lagos had not made any plans whatsoever to neutralize Johnson Ironsi, who was the commander-in-chief. Therefore, Nzogwu hurriedly drafted a speech which was broadcast on Radio Kaduna sometime around 12 a.m. and in which he declared martial law over the northern provinces of Nigeria. If you find this video worthwhile, please take out some time to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Acting President Nwafor Orizu made a nationwide broadcast. After he had briefed President Nnamdi Azikiwe on the phone about the decision of the cabinet, announcing the cabinet's visionary decision to transfer power to the armed forces.
From the information at my disposal, the cabinet decided to transfer power to him as the general officer commanding the armed forces. It means an abdication of power, and it means then the suspension of the president, the prime minister, the 4 regional governors, and the 4 regional premiers In other words, the civilian authorities have found it impossible to maintain law and order and have transferred same to the military authorities until law and order can be maintained.
Are you or your cabinet setting a time limit on this assumption of power?
Major General Johnson Agui Ironsi, who was General Officer Commanding GOC of the Nigerian Army and the most senior officer, then made his own broadcast accepting the invitation to lead the nation. On 17 January, Major General Ironsi established the Supreme Military Council in Lagos and effectively suspended the constitution. When Madiebo was asked if in Ironsi's shoes would he have executed Nzogu and his accomplices, he abruptly said no. Madiebo said he would have tried them for indiscipline and jailed them, dismissed them from the army, never mind that when the northerners do it, they become heroes. A coup is a very serious offense and deserves even death. Nzogu was the first coup plotter in Nigeria, the first in Black Africa even. What they deserved, the plotters, was to be tried outrightly for gross indiscipline and long-term imprisonment because it involved every tribe. Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, Ijaw, there was no tribe that wasn't part of the coup. Leaving them unpunished would draw anybody's anger. He gave the impression that Ironsi was part of it, but Madiebo doesn't believe he was. There was a rumor in the army that there was a coup, but nobody knew exactly what a coup was then. Everybody knew that a coup was coming. The politicians, the army, the police, everybody. But when the coup came, it swept everybody off his feet. Madiebo believes that Agui Ironsi, the general officer commanding the Nigerian army, knew exactly what to do with the coup plotters, but he did the simplest thing: nothing. According to Madiebo, he put these people in jail. Nobody tried them. It was like he was giving them a holiday. If they had been tried and sentenced to something, it would have been better to say that the punishment was too lenient, instead of saying that nobody was punished for such a coup, in which so many people were killed, including the Prime Minister. That was why the North decided to strike. On the night of June 18, 1966, Madiebo was secretly paid a visit by a cousin to the late Sardana. It came close to being one of the most chilling meetings of his life. The cousin, with the help of carefully made notes, revealed that the northern military government had decided to overthrow Ironsi's government. And had it just been another coup, this relative, who Madiebo in his own memoir simply described as Alhaji Suya, wouldn't have come to lead the plan had this new batch of coup plotters not decided to kill every southerner in the north, especially the Igbo, irrespective of age, sex, religious belief, or social status. The information provided by Alhaji Suya was enough to stop the coup, which was at the concluding stages, and save Nigeria from a civil war. Madiebo promptly flew to Lagos to inform Ironsi of the danger brewing. As with the case of January coup plotters, Ironsi handled the developing situation poorly, and when the counter-coup came, the cost of lives that followed, which included General Ironsi's, shook the soul of the young nation. It was in the course of fleeing from the boiling north that Madiebo boarded the goods train and eluded death, which soldiers he once commanded were now more than willing to serve to him. However, another notable mistake that wasn't discussed by Madiebo was the Unification Decree No. 34 of May 1966, promulgated by Ironsi, leading to the abolition of regional power and unification of the regional civil service into a federal civil service. Historically speaking, the West and the North had always believed in the regional system of government as the best form of government for a multi-ethnic country like Nigeria. However, this was taken away by Ironsi, leading to a massive outrage and pogrom in the North in May 1966, as it was seen as an Igbo domination plot. This happened a few months before the counter-coup by northern officers, which led to the death of Ironsi, Fajuyi, and many other officers of Igbo origin. Ironsi believed that federalism was deepening ethnic and religious divisions. He saw a unitary government as a way to eliminate tribalism, standardize administration, and build a strong national identity. As a military leader, Ironsi may have felt that a fragmented federal system hindered effective governance. By centralizing authority, he hoped to streamline decision-making and reduce bureaucratic gridlock. A unified military and civil service under central command would, in his view, make it harder for any region to break away or stay the regional power grab. In Frederick Forsyth's book, The Making of an African Legend, The Biafran Story, he notes that Ironsi's actions, though perhaps driven by a desire for unity, were clumsy and misread the political temperature of the North. He highlights by surrounding himself with northern officers of protection, Ironsi unwittingly gave access and power to those most likely to turn against him. The same officers he trusted to preserve unity later coordinated and carried out the counter-coup in January 1966. While trying to appease the North, Ironsi also alienated voices from the West and even parts of the East, who viewed his government as ineffective, unresponsive, and dangerously centralizing. Ironsi, with great courage, surrounded himself with northern soldiers and promoted northerners to sensitive military posts. He had northern bodyguards and a northern aide-de-camp. He also appointed Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon to replace Colonel Kur Muhammad as Chief of Staff of the Army Headquarters, and Muhammad Shua was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel and selected to replace Lieutenant Colonel Emeka Ojukwu as Commander of the 5th Battalion in Kano. Ironsi promoted Murtala to Lieutenant Colonel and appointed him the Nigerian Inspector of Signals. Ironsi's decision to lean on northern officers without addressing the deep political wound or suspicions allowed discontent to fester within his own ranks. The result was the July 29, 1966 counter-coup, also known as the Northern Revenge Coup, where Agu Ironsi and Adekunle Fajuyi were brutally killed, setting the stage for Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon's rise and ultimately the Nigerian Civil War. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I would really love to know your thoughts about what Madebo thinks about the mistakes that Agu Ironsi made that led to his death. Do you think he should have acted differently? Or was his moves correct? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification button to get more content like this about African history. It's been Nando from Afriverse Historic. See you in the next video.